Have you ever felt the weight of societal expectations holding you back? A question we've all asked ourselves at some point. But what if there was a way to break free from these shackles? Enter The Courage to Be Disliked, a book that offers just that, wrapped in a dialogue between a philosopher and a young man. This unique narrative style brings to life a series of enlightening conversations that delve deep into the human psyche. The central theme of this transformative book is the radical idea that happiness is a personal choice. It isn't dictated by past experiences or societal pressures, but rather it's a state of mind that we can choose for ourselves. It's about understanding that our past doesn't have to define our present, and that societal expectations are not the benchmark for our happiness. This book holds the secret to unlocking the chains of self-doubt and societal expectations. So, are you ready to embrace the courage to be disliked? Why do we often cling to our past experiences as excuses for our present discontent? This question, posed in the enlightening pages of The Courage to Be Disliked, is at the heart of our exploration today. In the tale, a philosopher shares with a young man the profound teachings of Alfred Adler, teachings which revolve around the power of self and the ability to change our narrative. The philosopher explains that we often become ensnared in the web of our past, allowing it to dictate our present and future. This, he suggests, is a form of self-deception, a way for us to evade taking responsibility for our lives. Instead of acknowledging our power to shape our destiny, we blame circumstances, we blame others, and we blame the world for our lack of joy. But this blame game, this evasion of responsibility, only serves to keep us trapped in a cycle of discontent. As the philosopher points out, this is not the path to happiness. The power to change our narrative lies within us. We possess the ability to rewrite our story, to craft a new plot, to create new characters. We can choose to be the protagonist of our own lives, to be the hero who overcomes adversity, or the heroine who finds joy in the midst of turmoil. Indeed, the philosopher teaches that happiness is not a state to be achieved, but a choice to be made. It is not tethered to the traumas of our past, nor is it dependent on the approval or disapproval of others. It is a choice that lies within our own hands, a choice that we can make every single day. So why do we cling to our past experiences as excuses for our present discontent? Perhaps it is because we are afraid of the power that lies within us, the power to shape our destiny, the power to be happy, the power to be disliked. But as we learn from The Courage to Be Disliked, we have the power to change our narrative. What does it mean to truly accept oneself? This is a question that many of us grapple with throughout our lives. Accepting oneself is not about denying one's flaws or pretending to be someone else. It is about acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, our successes and failures, our hopes and fears. It is about embracing the entirety of our being, with all its imperfections and incongruities. In the book The Courage to Be Disliked, the philosopher guides the young man on a journey of self-acceptance. He imparts the wisdom that self-acceptance is not a destination, but a continuous journey. It is about being open to growth, being willing to change, and being brave enough to face the unknown. The philosopher elaborates that self-acceptance is closely tied to liberation from others' opinions. We often tether our sense of self-worth to the approval of others, thus imprisoning ourselves in the confines of societal expectations. But in doing so, we lose sight of our true selves, our authentic selves. We must learn to break free from this cycle, to rise above the noise of the crowd, and to listen to our own voice. Moreover, the philosopher introduces the concept of self-actualization. This is the ultimate goal of our journey, to become the best version of ourselves, to realize our full potential, to find our purpose and passion in life. It is not about achieving perfection, but about striving for progress. It is about being true to ourselves, to our values, to our dreams. But what does all this have to do with happiness? Well, the philosopher posits that happiness is not something that happens to us. It's something we create. And it all starts with self-acceptance. When we accept ourselves, we give ourselves the freedom to be who we truly are, to live authentically, to pursue our passions, and to find fulfillment in our own unique way. So embark on this journey of self-acceptance. Be brave, be bold, be you. Remember, self-acceptance is the first step towards self-actualization. How can we confront our fears and step out of the shadows of our excuses? This is the question that The Courage to Be Disliked compels us to ask ourselves. It's not a simple task, nor is it a comfortable one. It urges us to face the monsters under our beds, the ghosts in our closets, the fears that we've allowed to take residence in the recesses of our minds. This task, however challenging, is crucial in our journey to self-fulfillment. The book paints a vivid picture of the rewards that await us once we muster the courage to confront our fears. It's not about vanquishing these fears, but rather acknowledging them, understanding them, and ultimately, learning to coexist with them. The book suggests that our fears, much like our past, can serve as convenient excuses hindering us from pursuing our authentic selves. We fear rejection, failure, disappointment, and yes, even dislike. We hide in the shadows of these fears, allowing them to dictate our actions, our decisions, our very lives. But what if we dared to step out of these shadows? Imagine a life where you boldly claim your desires, where you stride confidently towards your dreams, unencumbered by the weight of fear. This is the life that the book encourages us to aspire for, a life where we are not just mere spectators, but active participants steering the course of our destiny. The philosopher in the book asserts that this is not a journey we undertake alone. We are not solitary warriors battling our fears. We are part of a collective, a community of individuals all striving to confront their fears and to live authentically. It's a monumental task, but the rewards are equally great. By confronting our fears, we free ourselves from the shackles of self-doubt and societal expectations. We allow ourselves to live fully, to embrace our true selves, and to experience the joy that comes from being authentically us. To claim the life we desire, we must first confront our fears. What does it mean to have the courage to be disliked? This question sits at the very heart of the book and serves as a powerful catalyst for personal transformation. It's not about seeking conflict or reveling in unpopularity. No, the courage to be disliked is about embracing authenticity, even when it means stepping away from societal approval. You see, we often find ourselves shackled by the chains of approval. We crave validation, we yearn for acceptance, and we fear the judgment of others. But in this desperate quest for approval, we often lose sight of who we are. We don a mask of conformity, suppressing our true selves to fit into a mold that society has cast for us. But the book, The Courage to be Disliked, challenges this narrative. It encourages us to break free from these chains of approval and to boldly step into our authenticity. It's about having the courage to be true to ourselves, even if it means facing disapproval or rejection. This is where the power of dislike comes into play. It's about recognizing that you cannot please everyone, and that's okay. It's about understanding that your worth is not defined by the opinions of others. It's about choosing authenticity over approval. And this choice, dear listener, can be a powerful catalyst for happiness. Because when we stop seeking the approval of others and start embracing our true selves, we find a sense of freedom, a sense of joy, and a sense of fulfillment that we never thought possible. So let's challenge the status quo. Let's step away from the shadows of approval and into the light of authenticity. Let's embrace the courage to be disliked. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being liked by everyone. It's about being liked by the right people, and most importantly, being liked by ourselves. The key to happiness is in our own hands, and it starts with the courage to be true to oneself. So what can we take away from The Courage to be Disliked? At its core, this transformative book reminds us that we hold the keys to our own happiness. It's not about what life throws at us, but how we choose to respond. We often use our past as a crutch, blaming our circumstances, others, or the world for our discontent. But the book challenges us to change this narrative, to stop seeking approval and start seeking authenticity. The journey to self-acceptance is not easy. It requires courage to confront our fears, to step out of the shadows, and to embrace the discomfort of being disliked. But it's a journey worth taking, for it is only when we free ourselves from the shackles of societal expectations that we can truly find happiness. And remember, the power to change lies within us. We can choose our own path, our own happiness, our own life. And they all lived happily ever after, with the courage to be disliked.